Ladies and gentlemen, one of the hardest truths to accept in life is that most people are not truly your friends until you've shown results. This isn't because people are unkind, it's simply how human psychology functions. There is something called success bias, and it's real. Our minds are built to look for what appears stable, capable, and trustworthy. That's why people naturally move toward those who seem to be succeeding. It gives them a sense of safety to be connected with someone who appears to be progressing, someone with visible achievements. If you are just starting out, still working quietly with little to show, you'll likely notice that few people encourage you, few check in, and not many believe in the vision you're pursuing. This is where many get discouraged. They confuse silence with rejection. They assume nobody supports me, so maybe I'm not meant for this. That is the point where most give up. But those who continue understand something different. It isn't rejection, it's reality. People usually respond to evidence, and until you have it, they won't commit their energy, time, or support. That doesn't make them wrong or unkind. It simply means they respond to what is visible, not to what you imagine. Think about it. If someone told you they were going to be the next Olympic champion but hadn't even started training, would you believe them? Probably not, because there's no proof. But if you saw them train daily, follow strict routines, and begin winning events, your belief would change. You'd think they might actually succeed. This is how most people see you. They need evidence before they align with your vision. This is where caution is needed. If you allow silence to weaken your resolve, you may quit before giving anyone the chance to see the proof. The psychology is simple. People are not against you, they are just not invested in something they cannot yet see. That's why you cannot wait for applause, approval, or friends to validate you before you begin. You must build resilience, the mindset that says, even if nobody believes in me, I will keep going. Even if no one claps, I will continue working. Even if I feel alone, I will push until results speak for themselves. This is why the early stage of success feels lonely, because it's the invisible phase. Few recognize your effort, few value your persistence, and few understand your sacrifices. But this stage is critical because it teaches you self-reliance. It forces you to develop discipline, trust in yourself, and inner strength. And the good news is, this phase prepares you for everything that comes after. When you finally break through, when results become visible, the same people who once doubted you will want to be connected with you. They will claim they supported you all along, and they will cheer the loudest once you succeed. That is simply human nature. Instead of wasting energy on resentment, use it as motivation. Let their doubt fuel your drive. Let the lack of support sharpen your focus. Once you accept that most people only show up after you win, you stop waiting for others to validate you and start building the mindset that makes you unstoppable. You also realize that the rare few who support you before the results appear are the ones worth keeping close. Everyone else will arrive only when success is visible, and that's fine, because that's how life works. Until that day comes, your task is simple: keep moving, keep proving, and keep building evidence. Eventually, you'll notice that the same people who were silent when you struggled are now cheering because you succeeded. And deep down, you'll know the real victory wasn't just the success itself, it was becoming strong enough to win without their applause. One of the most important lessons about relationships is learning the difference between conditional and unconditional support. This lesson becomes clear when you're chasing something difficult that few believe you can achieve. The truth is, most people in your life are conditional. Their presence and encouragement depend on circumstances. When things go well, they celebrate and want to be associated with your success. But when you struggle, fail, or face uncertainty, many disappear. Suddenly they are too busy, too distant, or too uninterested. That silence teaches you more about human nature than any motivational book ever could. It can feel harsh to realize how many people only believe when there is proof of achievement. But it's also freeing because once you stop expecting unconditional loyalty from everyone, you stop feeling disappointed when it isn't there. You come to understand that genuine unconditional relationships are rare and valuable. These are the people who don't care if you fail, who don't care if others doubt you, and who remain by your side when nothing looks promising. When you find them, you value them deeply, because they are the exception, not the norm. Most of the time, you will be surrounded by conditional support. Instead of resenting it, learn to use it as part of your strength. Conditional friends are like fair-weather teammates. They show up when the scoreboard says you're ahead and vanish when you fall behind. But here's the reality. You don't need everyone to be unconditional. You only need a few, and the rest will reappear when you succeed. That means your responsibility is not to chase approval, not to beg for loyalty, and not to spend energy convincing people to stay through the lows. Your focus should be on building results that naturally draw people in, and this is where the deeper lesson comes. Conditional friendships teach you self-reliance. They show you that outside validation is temporary, fragile, and easily lost. If your confidence relies on applause, you'll collapse the moment it fades. But if you can stand firm when the stands are empty, if you can keep moving even when no one checks in, you become unstoppable. Because your drive no longer depends on their belief, only on your own. Unconditional friends, however, are your anchor. They remind you that you have value even when you're not winning. They keep you grounded when success arrives and the crowd suddenly gathers. And here's the truth. You won't know who these people are until you face struggle. Success doesn't reveal unconditional support, failure does. That lonely season, when nothing seems to work, is when people's real character is shown. And while it can feel harsh, it's also a gift. It filters your relationships. It reveals who is genuine and who is only there for the highlight reel. So when you feel frustrated by a lack of support, shift your perspective. Instead of asking, why don't they believe in me, ask who is still here now. That small group, that's your true circle. Everyone else is not your enemy, they're simply conditional participants in your journey. They will return when you win, and that's fine. But don't waste energy resenting them, because resentment drains progress. What matters is recognizing the difference and protecting your energy from misplaced expectation. At the core, conditional versus unconditional friendship is not about labeling people as good or bad, it's about clarity. It's about knowing that most operate conditionally, and that's normal. It's about treasuring the rare unconditional one. And it's about understanding that your success will bring back the crowd, but your resilience, determination, and self-belief are what will carry you until then. And here's the real strength. Once you stop expecting everyone to be unconditional, you free yourself. You stop being let down. You stop being surprised when people only appear during the wins, and instead, you anchor yourself in the truth. You don't need everyone to be your friend until you succeed. You need yourself to be your own friend, the entire way. Every path to success has a season that feels like complete isolation. It's rarely discussed because it isn't glamorous, it isn't fun, and it doesn't look inspiring on social media. But it's real. It's the stage where you work harder than ever, yet it feels unnoticed. It's where you sacrifice late nights, early mornings, social time, and comfort, and you start to question whether it's worth it because results haven't appeared yet. This is what I call the lonely zone. If you're not ready for it, it can break you. But if you expect it, it can become the most powerful stage of growth. Why? Because the isolation phase strips away noise. It forces you to face yourself without distraction. When no one is calling, cheering, or checking in, you're left with one important question: how badly do you want it? Most people discover in this stage that they didn't want it enough. They wanted applause, recognition, and quick results, but not the grind without attention. That's why this stage is a filter. It separates those who chase validation from those who chase real growth. Think about anyone who has achieved something remarkable. Before recognition, before interviews, before awards, they went through this same stage, alone in a gym, alone in a studio, with books, notes, or business plans. No cameras, no audience, just sweat, silence, and sacrifice. That's the real birthplace of success. It doesn't happen when everyone else shows up. It happens when no one does, and you continue anyway. Psychologists call this delayed gratification, the ability to work now for a reward that comes much later. The isolation phase teaches this skill in real time. You don't get the rush of instant praise. You don't get outside proof that your work is paying off. What you get is doubt, and doubt works like resistance training for the mind. Every time you push through, every time you keep going without validation, you grow. You're building discipline, patience, and resilience, the very qualities that set winners apart. The danger is that this stage feels endless. While you're in it, it can seem like everyone else has support, recognition, and momentum. That illusion can crush motivation if you don't see what's truly happening. The truth is, everyone who has ever succeeded went through this same tunnel of loneliness. Once they made it out, no one focused on the tunnel itself. People only noticed the light at the end. So if you're in it right now, you're not failing, and you're not behind. You are exactly where you need to be.
What matters is how you see it. Instead of calling it loneliness, call it training. Instead of calling it abandonment, call it independence. This is the season where you build the version of yourself capable of carrying success when it finally arrives. Because here's the reality: if you can't handle being ignored, you won't be able to handle being celebrated either. Success brings attention, judgment, jealousy, and expectation. The isolation phase builds the mental toughness to handle all of that without breaking. So if you feel unseen, if it feels like nobody notices your effort, take a deep breath and remind yourself, this is the process. This is the tunnel every winner must pass through. And once you embrace it, it stops feeling like punishment and starts feeling like preparation. Every early morning, every late night, every sacrifice, it's not wasted. It's laying the foundation for the life you are creating, a life that will one day make sense to those who can't see it now. Here's the key: you don't have to escape the isolation phase to succeed. You have to endure it. You keep moving forward, one step at a time, until you emerge. And when you do, not only will the world notice, but you'll also carry a strength inside you that cannot be taken away. That's the real victory. Success also has a way of changing how people see you. Before you achieve anything, most people doubt you. They question your choices, underestimate your abilities, and sometimes even laugh at your goals. But the moment results appear, everything those who once ignored you want to hear your story. Those who dismissed you start to respect you, and the same people who thought your vision was unrealistic now act as if they always believed. Why does this happen? Because winning creates credibility. It turns a vision from an idea into something undeniable. Think about it: when you talk about your goals, all people have are your words, and words are easy. Many talk about dreams they never pursue. That's why most don't take you seriously at first. But when you take consistent action and produce results, you create proof. Proof is powerful. It forces people to see you differently. It transforms possibility into reality. If someone says they want to start a company, most people nod politely, but don't take it too seriously. But when that same person creates a product, launches it, and starts generating revenue, suddenly investors and supporters appear. What changed? Not the dream, it was the same from the start. What changed was credibility. Results speak a language that doubt cannot dismiss. This is why your commitment to your vision must be stronger than other people's disbelief. Credibility isn't given in the beginning, it's earned through work, consistency, and time. Too many people wait for validation before they act. They want friends, family, or society to confirm they're on the right path. But that's not how it works. Validation comes after the proof, not before. If you wait for approval first, you'll never begin. Winning also builds momentum that attracts opportunity. Succeed at one thing, no matter how small, and people begin to associate you with competence. And competence builds trust. For example, if you set a goal to run a marathon and actually complete it, people don't just see you as someone who runs, they see you as disciplined, determined, and resilient. That credibility then carries into other parts of your life. People are more likely to support your next project because you've shown that you follow through. Winning creates that ripple effect of trust. But here's the key: you can't just win once. You must keep showing up, keep building proof, and keep demonstrating that you're not a one-time success. This is why consistency matters so much. Anyone can get lucky, but consistent progress, even in small steps, builds a reputation people cannot ignore. It grows like compound interest, slow at first, then powerful over time. And remember, winning doesn't always mean a massive breakthrough. Sometimes credibility comes from small victories that stack up. Waking up early to work on your craft is a win. Staying disciplined when quitting would be easier is a win. Reaching small milestones toward your larger goal is a win. Each of those victories is like a brick alone. They may not look impressive, but stacked together, they form a wall of credibility so strong that people have no choice but to acknowledge it. The best part is that credibility doesn't only change how others see you, it changes how you see yourself. When you prove to yourself that you can follow through, your confidence grows. You stop needing constant applause because you know you're capable. That inner credibility is just as important as the external kind. In fact, it comes from when you believe in yourself, because you've seen your own evidence. You develop a quiet confidence that can withstand any storm. So if you're in the stage where no one seems to believe in you, Stop waiting for approval. Focus instead on building undeniable proof. Show up every day. Stack small wins. Build credibility step by step until your results are so clear they can't be ignored. Because once you begin winning, once you create that evidence, you won't need to chase validation. It will come on its own. And when it does, you'll realize the true victory wasn't convincing others. It was proving to yourself that you were capable from the start. The truth is, no one will ever believe in your vision as much as you do. And that's how it should be. Your dream was given to you, not to them. They can't see the picture in your mind. They don't feel the fire that drives you. They don't hear the inner voice telling you that you're meant for more. All they see is your current reality, the struggle, the ordinary, the lack of visible result. That's why, if you wait for others to validate your dream, you'll wait forever. The belief must start with you, and it has to be strong enough to carry you when no one else can see it. Think about it. Every invention, every movement, every breakthrough began in the mind of one person who refused to wait for permission. Imagine if Edison had waited until people believed he could create the light bulb. Imagine if a young woman from Mississippi had waited for people to believe she could build a media empire. Imagine if anyone pursuing innovation had waited for the world to say yes before starting. None of it would have happened, because belief doesn't come from outside, it's built within. And in the beginning it's always lonely. The danger is that many hand over the power of their dreams to others. They wait for parents, friends, or society to say they're good enough. They wait for applause before they've done the work. But the world doesn't reward potential, it rewards results. People clap when they can see something, not before. And if you can't push through the silence, the doubt, the dismissive looks and comments, you'll never reach the stage where results appear. This is why winners develop what can be called self-generated belief. They don't need permission to begin. They make a decision. I believe this is possible. I believe I can do this. I believe my vision matters. And then they act on that belief, even when everyone else is silent. Belief before proof is the hardest stage, but also the most powerful, because when you choose to believe in yourself first, you build a resilience that no one can take away. It's easy to believe once the world starts clapping. It's easy to feel confident when others are cheering. But the real question is, can you believe in yourself when no one is watching? Can you keep showing up when there are no likes, no praise, no recognition? That's the true test, and it's the one most people fail. Your belief is the foundation of everything. Without it you won't begin. Without it you won't persist. Without it you'll break the first time things get difficult. But with it, you become unstoppable. When you believe deeply in what you're doing, setbacks don't end you. Failure doesn't define you, and criticism doesn't derail you. You keep moving, because you know the dream belongs to you. Eventually, that unshakable belief produces results. Those results create credibility, and credibility attracts support. But it all begins with the choice to believe before any of that exists. So here's the reminder. You don't need everyone else to understand right now. You don't need them to clap. You don't need them to agree. Stop waiting for approval that may never come. Instead, stand tall, look in the mirror, and tell yourself, I believe in this. I believe in me. That belief is your engine. It will carry you when things feel impossible. And one day, when you finally break through, the same people who doubted you will say, I always knew you could do it. And you'll smile because you'll know the truth. You believed long before they did. And that's why you made it.